All right, guys, thank you for joining us for the first ever Brewsday article. This week we are bringing you a Yarna of Lost Voices build. Let's jump right into it. So we've been tweaking this for a little bit. I have managed to get to Cosmic with the current iteration that we have. Right now, the numbers look a little wonky, but trust me on them, they've been working. It's mainly built to beat the obscene amounts of the Diamond Sapphire control that we're seeing on the ladder right now. But we are also positioned well to defend ourselves against a lot of the aggro decks out there, which is why we have the 4 Exarchs and the 4 Vampire Prince, even though we are running Massacres in this list. The Massacre is really there just to catch us up if they overextend into the board. Otherwise, typically our Exarchs and just our other little spot removal can keep us in the game until we get our engine online. The Fenteo, obviously amazing with the marginal mill, pretty much a win con by just filling their decks with tarantulas if they can't remove it. We got the 1 Gallows Ghost, really good. It hits them usually for any marginal amount of damage that towards the end of the game that we need to get us over the threshold, or mills them out the rest of the way. Whatever we need, it really is quite the Swiss Army knife for the deck. Mad Robomancer is another solid card against control. As long as you can make 1 copy of it, you're usually pretty good to go. We got 3 Transmog, 1 Magistrate, 3 Hero Fall, the 4 Vampire Prince. And I will point out, since while we're on it, the one flaw I'm having right now with the deck that IceCon has pointed out is that in an ideal world, we would turn 1 Cult of the Nameless City, which doesn't allow us to turn 2 Vampire Prince. So that might be something that needs to be removed. I've had a lot of success with the Cult, with the marginal mill, and then randomly being a draw 3 at certain points in the game. So it's probably the Vampire Prince that I would cut. Not sure at the moment quite yet what to cut for that. Still a work in progress. 2 Strangle, 2 Blood's Favor. We were playing Bounty of the Magus prior, but we found most of the time we couldn't afford to take a turn off to draw a card. So the first Bounty was really bad for us in a lot of the aggro matchups. So this kind of gives us a way to gain life or draw cards when we need it. 1 Rylith, which is really good for removal, and then also as a finisher for us. The 2 Culmination of Blood, high power level on that card. The 3 Massacres, already explained. The 3 Cults of the Nameless City. It's been amazing for me. Just the individual mill has allowed me to get hit spiders and tarantulas faster, and then while they're casting spells, you can hit your 20 card quota to draw 3 cards for 1 resource. Right now, this is an experimental card, the 1 of Dream Call, as you can see, because it's not full art. I don't really have any thoughts about it. It was the latest change that I've made. Came with the cutting of the 4 Bounty of the Magus, so I put in the 2 Blood's Favor. We were having some resource issues, so I upped it by 1 and put in another Sapphire. And then Dream Call was the 4th card that I decided to give a try, but it's possible that might just want to be another removal spell. And then 2 the Librarian. If this does not get answered immediately, we'll very quickly take over the game. And let's go into reserves. So right now, we have the 2 Noxious Glory, which we're primarily bringing in against the Mono Sapphire deck. A little catch-all Gemborn Prowler. Cheap Shot is there to help us out with some of those aggro matchups, like Redlings and any of the Mono Red decks. To try and keep us alive earlier, and then also it produces a blocker for us. Withering Gaze, great in just about every matchup. Dread End is just another mass removal spell if they flood the board, sort of thing. That also helps us with our culminations. Also helps us with our Cults of the Nameless City. Into the Unknown, We're running a full 4 because we don't have an answer to the Papa Goot decks, and I wanted to make sure I had the best odds of drawing at least one every time I was in those matchups. So that's been bumped up to the full 4. And it's a great catch-all because it's put target card into its controller's hand and transform it. So you can remove all of the Dark Hearts just as easily. Whatever's giving you a problem, it's just a good catch-all. And then Runebind because it's borderline overpowered for 1 resource. You can remove anything. You can stop an instant draw to buy yourself another turn. There's a lot of tempo-based plays that you can make off the Runebind to really help yourself out. And with that, we'll move on to the first match. See you there.